Welcome back everybody to Khaldor TV, welcome back to Heroes of the Storm action. A best of 3 series today, again, ATN Fancy in the consolation match of Group C at the TopAchat tournament is going up against Huron Team. Once again, the observing during the game is of course done by the French team. Unfortunately right now in Heroes of the Storm we have only 2 observer slots, which means that the French organization is taking both of those but provides me with a clean feed that I'm casting from. So one of the reasons why I might not be able to check out every single talent or the damage of the heroes and their healing numbers. But still, our observer is doing an amazing job and I'm pretty looking forward to this series in particular. We are starting things off with the match on Tomb of the Spider Queen. This time without an Asmodan. This time we do not have an Asmodan here, but we have something else. We have the Butcher for more fresh meat. So this is going to be a pretty fun one. First of all, we're having on the side of Huron Team the Butcher together with Tyrande, trying to go into really a composition that wants to snipe targets, especially with an Uber behind it. On the other hand, there is of course ATN Fancy, and they are going to try to just somehow deal with the Butcher. It's really important that you take cleanse on your hero, just because you will never be able to stop the Butcher during his this onslaught, his ruthless onslaught, the talent that he has. But what you can do is cleanse it out, at least the stun, not the damage but the stun, and that's really important so that you can then move away with the target and heal it out. Of course, Rhaegar is going to help out with the ancestral healing here as well. If it works out, or if the Butcher is going to dominate this first map, that's something that we're going to find out right now on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Alright everybody, game number 1 in the series between ATN Fancy and Huron. We are in the consolation match of Group C at the TopAchat tournament, and this means the winner of this series is going to advance to the round of 8. To the left side of the map we have ATN Fancy with Dark Mok on Kaelthas, Devis on Jaina, Krolu playing Rhaegar, Blumby on Muradin, and Crosby on Thagara. To the right side of the map, the Spanish team with Ibelino on Uburak, Redex on Tyrande, Hiruka on Jaina, and shared with the fresh meat, the Butcher. Wraith on Malfurion, and yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Once again, we see Butcher play in the game, and of course, we are going to watch out especially for the healer on the side of the opponent's team, since that is where most of the plays are going to happen. There is going to be the attempt to rush in with a Butcher to use that onslaught and then of course drop a stun together with Red X to get that stun lock in and a lot of damage. And the one guy that really has to prevent all of this is Krolu on his Rhaegar. He needs to take cleanse on level 7 to cleanse out the stun and also apply the ancestral healing if really all of that burst damage is going to hit the target. So a lot of this game will depend on, first of all, the change you see against the Butcher, which can of course only be applied after the ruthless onslaught, since the Butcher in the meantime is just completely unstoppable. But once that he's done with that, and if the cleanse was also successful and the opponent's target isn't even stunned, then you can start using those storm bolts, the gravity lapses. Reverberation build has been chosen on the side of Muradin as well, and it's not really a big surprise since the Butcher of course relies heavily on his auto attack as well. We see on level 1 for Rhaegar now the reduction on the mana for chain heal, which is going to be an important one. Zagara on this map in general is just very good because you have, oh, there we already see exactly that composition and a quick kill. A ruthless onslaught plus Tyrande stun and even a root from Wraith. There's no way for Zagara to get out of there. And yeah, therefore the first blood on the side of Huron Team, the Spanish team taking the lead. Level 1, by the way, we are seeing currently the reduction of mana and the cooldown on Hamstring. There's a couple of talents that players take right now. Oftentimes you will see the trait talent taken on level 1 as well, which gives you additional healing power and therefore lane sustain. But if you want to have as many of those hamstrings in the game as you can hit those Qs, then the reduced cooldown is quite important. It's not so much about the mana, since especially in the later stages of the game you're not going to have any problems with that, but it's really important if you want to get those extra hits in. Again, the onslaught, but a nice jump, perfectly timed. Blumby with really good reaction there. Didn't panic, saw what was going on and timed that perfectly. Really, really well done there. We have extended spikes on Anuburak, as pointed out by our observer, Karma here. Once again, I'm casting off a clean feed this time, so we don't really have control over the camera or, of course, over anything else in the game. So I also can't show you those stats with damage and heal. But Karma, one of the French guys with the organization here, he is doing an amazing job, so big shout out to him. Now we're having Blizzard, again advanced on level 4 with a snowstorm on Jaina. Tyrande going straight into that protective shield, and it's kind of interesting that we are seeing an Uberak again with the range on his burrow charge. I actually like that, and oftentimes you don't realize that he took the talent as the opposing player unless he goes in for the first time, and that might really surprise you. Drop your Loon's Graze on Malfurion for the extra range and all of his basic abilities, and Jaina definitely was looking into the wrong smoke screen, wasn't she? Shat is trying to get his hit points up again. A good kill against Jaina. He had a ruthless onslaught to finish off Muradin too. Well, actually, in this case, it wasn't Muradin, it was Kaelthas. But yeah, very well played here by Huron Team. They get a lot of momentum with the aggression that they can execute thanks to the Butcher and his plays there. So the positioning also working out quite well for them, and Alternate Fancy is suddenly in a bit of trouble here. And I don't think they are going to like the situation too much. Again, they're darting in, and look at that burst! Oh my god! I mean, the Butcher moves in, a stun from Red X on his Tyrande, Blizzard comes in too, there's even the burrow charge now with the extended range on not only the burrow charge but also the spikes itself. Yeah, they can just easily follow those stuns up, and it's a massive CC chain that they're using here. They have 4 kills already, and that of course gives them not only control of the map, at least the middle of the map, but also it gives them a lead in experience right now. Very well played here thus far. And that was pretty cool. Also, the extended range now on the hamstring. We're seeing that ability just advanced throughout the entire build so far by the Butcher. And that is actually the build that Fnatic is using as well. At least Lolo Fnatic is doing this. We have JPL going for a bit of a different build for Team Na'Vi. But they might have adjusted that in the meantime too. Because, of course, the teams are still experimenting a bit with the potential builds for the hero. Cleanse already taken. Now that level 7 hits for the Spanish team. Huron Team here. Oh, they might lose their Uberak with 17 gems. Not quite. Stun comp is there, but it's not enough to really drop him. The follow-up damage is just not available yet. And for now, it looks like Alternate Fancy doesn't really want to fight. I think they are going to wait for their cleanse, and there it is. Cleanse on Rhaegar. There is no other choice if you're running up against this setup. There is just absolutely nothing else that you really can or want to do. Again, the setup against Malfurion is nearly dying there, but not quite. And Bloomby might be in trouble. He's already jumping away. Shat is low on the Butcher too. By now, he of course has his fresh meat stacks, and that's also the talent that he goes for on level 7 here. So the Butcher going straight for it, trying to drop his trust, making sure that he's not losing his stacks, I want to say, because it's quite important that you have that extra damage on the hero, especially since a lot of your hit point regeneration depends on that. If you don't have those auto attacks, then you can't heal yourself. You need to apply the Butcher's Brand, which you oftentimes do against a very tanky target, just so that you're in a situation where you can heal yourself up again once that you're being attacked. But the first Web Weavers happen for the team in blue, and they are starting to use that immediately. Also, now we have the Butcher trying to get, once again, the stun, but here comes the cleanse being used. The problem is that Darkmog is still being taken out here. Kaelthas is dead, was locked down completely, and Bloomby is running into the same problem, rushing away here, as Davis is trying to escape on Jaina. Not really a big deal for him, but it's still a fort that they lost in this case. The level 7 talent, by the way, on the side of the Butcher is of course going to increase your fresh meat stacks to 35 from 25, and it's also going to reduce the number of meat stacks that you lose upon death, which is super important if you still want to keep that momentum, especially if you think that your opponent has what it takes to really snipe you occasionally. So it's a nice adjustment that we're seeing there. If you look at the build that was played by Fnatic just recently, what they do is that they try to apply more damage to the next attack after hamstring has been executed by 50%. That's the hamstring talent that is available on level 7, and according to a few players it gives you more damage, but of course when you die you still drop down to 0 with your fresh meat stack. So it's basically a judgment call and really personal preference that we're seeing there. Bed of Barbs has been used. Here comes that attack again, but once more the cleanse being used, but just barely Bloomby survives, but they get the kill against the Butcher here. And of course this is a really important one. Now he's going to drop down to the half of the stacks that he had before. He was full at 35 if I'm not mistaken, so we're going to see him drop down quite a bit, but he should be able to reach that maximum in just a few hits once again. Of course for Zagara we're seeing endless creep now. Control on this map is everything, and Zagara is going to try and use that not only for the bot lane but also trying to spread that out throughout the middle so that she has control, or sight at least, over both of these turning points. The level 10 hits a bit faster for Huron Team, and they're going for Furnace on the Butcher with the Water Elemental on Jaina and Starfall on Tyrande. Also, of course, the Locust Swarm that we're seeing in this case on Anubarak together with the Tranquility. Again, the kill against the Zagara at the bot lane, and you could really see how well he timed the Ruthless Onslaught together with the Furnace. If you time that properly, you will just hit into your target and stun it out as Furnace is being activated. And that's a lot of damage that you dish out with that. If there's a Tyrande in the mix as well, you can do so much burst damage that you might not even have to rely on other damage dealers to help you out with this. Hiruka on his Jaina has been doing a lot of damage and trying to do exactly that, but in this case was not even needed. Zagara again dying here, and of course she doesn't even have an escape, so it's really tricky for Zagara to survive this. Phoenix, Ancestral Healing, Blessed Shield, Abathur, and more are now in play for Alternate Fancy as well. And keep in mind that they only got a single kill thus far. We have 6 kills on Huron Team and only 1 for Alternate Fancy. In experience, they're still quite close. This game is not over by any means, but so far the aggression was mostly coming from Huron Team and not from Alternate Fancy. Additional talents are just going to hit in a bit. We're going to wait for that to happen on level 13 then, but for now it's just about trying to get their turn-ins and your kills. And right here, Kaelthas being alone on the map is definitely something that you do not want. There is quite some vision thanks to all those creep tumors, but still, in this case he was just too far out. There was nobody to help him, and as we said before, you rely heavily on cleanse if you want to keep heroes alive. Shed can currently just charge anybody with that Ruthless Onslaught, and that is something that you cannot stop. And if that hits and stuns you and there's nobody to cleanse the stun, then you are in trouble, especially if there's a follow-up. No matter if it's Jaina or Tyrande, no matter who it is, you are going to suffer a lot of damage. Again, the red team is starting to push in right over here, moving straight in. Crosby on Zagara is of course now sticking with the rest of the team, as is Darkmock on his Kaelthas. That power spike for him is going to hit at level 16, but for now they have to make sure that they at least fend those web weavers off, and the mid lane is the one that has been pushed in the farthest so far, so they're going to take that down easily. But now they have to start rotating again, and the top lane is being attacked there too. If they split up, or if they just move through the middle of the map, they're probably going to die again, because Shad is just waiting for another target that he can charge. They're going for the bot lane now. Nobody at the top lane, so that web weaver up at the top is all alone, at least for now. Lumbi, yeah, can always jump back with a quick dwarf toss, and thanks to the Phoenix, of course, they can zone this pretty easily. No big surprise there. Again, the web weaver is dead, but at the top lane there's still a big push going on, and this is exactly where we're seeing Huron Team rotate over. That fort is not going to make it. So yeah, 7 kills against 1 so far. That 13 talent is nearly ready for Huron Team. And it's going to be an important talent for them as well, since we're having not only Overflowing Light, which makes Tyrande into at least 50% healer, but we're also having the extra range now on Jaina. And that is pretty cool if you're running a setup where you're trying to rush into your opponent anyways. You are trying to jump them with the Butcher, who took Spell Shield, which is a wise choice in my opinion, especially when you're going up against the Kaelthas. It's a really cool talent to take, and of course you're giving something up for this. I mean, there are a lot of options. You can go Burning Rage. We're also having, of course, the extra movement speed when you apply the Butcher's brand to a target, which is kind of nice if you want to keep close to them and take them down. But Spell Shield is amazing if your opponent is running a few damage dealers like Kael'thas, so that you can actually have that sustain. And Jaina, with that extended range on the Blizzard, is just in an absolutely insane position to follow this up with damage. And if you look at the talents in general on the side of Huron Team, most of their talents really deal with range. Not only Jaina's 13, but also the level 1 and level 4 talent on Anubarak. So it's all about having that follow-up, really jump deep into the opponent's lineup to drop a target and make that happen. Malfurion is actually surprising me a little bit going into the ice block here, because it looks very much like he's mostly doing it to kind of negate the damage from let's say a level 16 Flame Strike. Oh, here they jump in again, and look at the range here. Wow, Zagara is dead before it even starts. There's a lot of damage also against the rest of the red team, but they might kill. Yes, they killed Jaina too, and Blumby doesn't have his cooldown ready, and as he did it, it was already too late. 3 heroes down, and once again they're diving in deep. Even with a cleanse, Darkmock is not going to make it. Crollo with a nice cleanse here, trying to get that stun or rid of that stun, but that was nearly a team wipe that we are seeing here from Huron Team. Great play by them. I'm liking this. The whole setup that they're running here is very well thought out, and it's all about that range. having Jaina as far back as possible and trying to reach the target that has been chosen by the Butcher and by Tyrande, and then moving in. They're just moving straight to the top to get the boss now. They have a 2-level lead already, and Crosby alone won't be able to do anything here. If he actually moves into the range of the Butcher and his onslaught, he is gonna be toast once again. They're of course banking their hopes on a Maw here. The entire team is back, but how are they gonna play this? There's the Maw. They have to be careful. The Butcher's actually really low. The Butcher's way too low. He's about to die here. He's trying to keep himself alive. They're going straight for Crosby once again, but there's the stun. The Butcher is down. Did never even get close. The boss is still fighting, but it looks like Alternate can get him. The throw pit is real. The throw pit once again delivers 4 heroes down and the boss stolen. Wow, the Butcher getting way too much damage from that boss. Also was stunned, if I'm not mistaken. 1 or 2 misplays there. The tornado messing with them too. And then after, the Butcher wasn't even able to apply any kind of pressure in the fight that occurred. They didn't stand a chance there. With the Butcher maybe moving in and taking a target down, that would have been a different battle. But as is, even that 2-level advantage didn't give them anything. They didn't have a talent lead, and now they're paying the price. They got a bit too greedy, and just like that, Alternate Fancy is back in the game. They are close to level 16. They have the boss, and guess what he's gonna do? He's gonna drop the keep there, or at least that Web Weaver will, and that was perfect timing. They must be mad. I know I'd be. We have level 16 talents now spawning for both of the teams at the same time, with the Butcher going straight into the Crippling Slam, so that you have a duration that is actually increased. The slow doesn't really fade out any longer, and with the increased duration you're just locking a target down a bit more. It's not really the talent that you see there the most. Usually it's either Blood Frenzy, where your fresh meat stacks also increase your attack speed, or it is Enraged, which really helps you if you're being focused, but in this case they're going for it again. So Tenacious Roots have been used now too, and Malfurion, and the entire setup, I mean, we've been talking about this, is just designed to get you into a position where you can just like really move in and do that damage, and that's what they're trying here. Keep those talents in mind on Rhaegar, on 13 and 16. It's amazing healing power that you have. Against moving in Furnace with good damage. Here comes the Phoenix. They're trying to utilize the Maw, at least to lock in one of them. So far, so good. Alternate Fancy does not get the kill. The Bellino moves out of the range. Right now, the momentum in favor of Fancy for sure. They have their 16. The 16 is strong for them. They are running this with Imposing Presence on Jaina. They're having now Flamethrower and Ignite on Kaelthas. Important talents, and that's exactly why the Bellino moves back once again. The Butcher is still trying to look for a target here that he can charge, but so far there's nothing in the vicinity. The Bellino is eating a lot of damage already. It's only on half HP, and as you can see with the Stone Form on Muradin, it's also going to be a bit more difficult to drop him here. We have Mutalisk and the double Hunter Killer taken for Zagara. Zagara is the hero that he has really to pay attention the most to what's going on right now. Without an escape talent, it's difficult. Once you hit that Bolt of the Storm on level 20, then you're in a much better position to actually get away from the Butcher charging you or to the back line. Right now, it's all about the next fight and the setup. Both of the teams are on the same talent. We have Alternate Fancy even slightly ahead. When it comes to gems, we have 33 on the side of Huron Team. They need a lot more if they really want to get another Web Weaver set. 31 already turned in for their opponent. But yeah, the Butcher has to make sure that he gets that charge in, that they can move in together with what they have, the follow-up stun by Tyrande. And so far, their entire setup in those fights has been really focused on dropping one hero early on in the battle, ideally Kaelthas, if not, then at least Zagara, and make sure that they turn it into an early 4 versus 5. And they still have the means to do that, but it's not going to be easy. The Tenacious Roots are going to help them with that for sure, but they still need to find a good target, and it's all about positioning for Alternate Fancy. Keep those 2 tanks at the front line. Make sure that the opponent cannot get close to the rest of the team, and they're just trying to move in. Is Shat getting close enough to Zagara or Kaelthas to make that happen, or they are trying to maybe even drop somebody else? Krollo is also in the backline. He doesn't want to get charged. He wants to be the one that applies the heal right away. Not only cleanse, but also, of course, the ancestral healing. Super important here, and he is using those healing waves. The Tidal Wave on level 16 is an amazing talent for those team fights. Getting that cooldown reduction when you hit 3 targets or more is absolutely phenomenal, and he can spam it out. Shat is there and is still trying to spam Hamstring. He is not charging in just yet. He doesn't want to waste it. One of the things about the Butcher is that his talents have, or his abilities have a really high cooldown. That Ruthless Onslaught, we're talking a 20-second cooldown there. So that is pretty sick. The Butcher's brand alone is, I think, a 14-second cooldown, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong on that account, though, I have to admit. But yeah, that should be a 14-second cooldown. So you want to make sure that you are not in a situation where you waste those and suddenly find yourself in a very, very long cooldown where you can't do anything. Again, a Gravity Lapse against Vipolino. A lot of damage that is being applied by Kaelthas now. And Alternate Fancy has a very, very good positioning. They are trying to turn in again. There's the Blizzard. Just look at that range on Blizzard, thanks to the 13 talent that we're seeing for Hiruke here. Really liking that. Now that Jaina lost Sprint on level 13, we are seeing this a lot more. And still, both of the teams dancing around each other, waiting for an opportunity. Every single fight that you can take could be win or lose. Maybe not quite for the game yet, but definitely to give you a massive momentum. And, well, I guess Huron Team is a bit mad. Going into the throw pit like this and dropping it is, or was, a problem. Again, the stun. 1 stuns, 2 stuns, but Cleanse already being used. Cleanse is in cooldown. Cleanse is down, but so are the hit points of most of the heroes that we're seeing for Huron Team. But they know that Cleanse is out. No Tranquility yet. Well, they're moving back. Rave doesn't use it. And there's the Maw. Maw is also out. Cleanse is out. Maw is out. Starfall is out. Is that the opportunity? They're trying to rush in. They're going straight for Crosby once again. Here comes the stun. Furnace a little bit too late. The Butcher is already in trouble. He's trying to heal himself up once more, but no! Goes down after Nubarak already died, and all of a sudden Alternate is just turning things around. They were on the defensive, but they flipped the switch, and now they're going straight for Malfurion. The Ice Block is not going to save you, buddy. It's going to heal him up a little bit, but there is the 3rd kill, and are they going to go for core? It looks very much like that's exactly what they're going to do. They completely ignore the rest of the keep, and they have 2 catapults in the back trying to apply the damage now as well. They go for core. Their stun against Zagara is not going to change that, and this should be game number 1. The Butcher with so much pressure in the early game, but right now Fancy just playing the smarter game here. They are going to take the lead in this best of 3 series in the consolation match, and this could bring them into the round of 8 of the tournament. Congratulations to them taking the lead in the series here against Team Huron, the Spanish team, down 1 map in this best of 3 now.
What a game! At the beginning it really looked like we had the Butcher composition dominate everything. Huron Team was going from kill to kill to kill to kill, and they did it really well. Just charging in with the Butcher, using Tyrande for the extra stun, jumping in even with Nubarak and every other hero in the game, going for range abilities for their range talents to just increase the range on Blizzard, for example, the range on the Burrow Charge, range on also those Impales. And it worked really, really well for them. But then they made this one call 2 levels ahead and decided to go into the throw pit. And of course, well, that particular place on the map has the name for a reason, and you could see there again, they lose their heroes, they lose the fight, and they lose the boss as well, and all of a sudden the game just like that turns around, and it is Alternate Fancy who in the end is victorious. Very well played by Alternate Fancy, but of course Huron Team is probably quite mad after this one. They have a chance to tie the series up now, and we are going to see on Cursed Hollow if they can do that. The composition that we're seeing for Alternate Fancy is pretty interesting here once again. We have in this case Nezebo back, and also they are playing this together with Kaelthas, so 2 mages trying to do the damage here. And those sleeping spiders are really annoying, right? Level 16, I mean, they are a menace. On the other hand, we're having an interesting setup as well for the opponent. Huron Team is trying to play a composition that is extremely strong with their pushing power. We have a Zagara in here and also Sylvanas. And I'm pretty curious to see what exactly they can do with this. So guys, game number 2 coming up. Huron Team needs to win this one if they want to have a chance to advance to the round of 8 of the tournament. So let's jump right into Cursed Hollow without further ado.
Alright everybody, the game is on, and we are looking at game number 2 between Huron and Alternate Fancy. Right now, to the left side of the map, we are currently seeing the Spanish team with Zagara, played by Red X, Vipolino on Mirian, Hiruko on Sylvanas, Rave on Malfurion, and Shad on Jaina. To the right side, it is Krolo and Uther for Alternate, Devis on Nubarak, Darkmok on Kaelthas, Blumby is playing Jaina here, and we have Crosby on Nezebo. Once again, we see the Witch Doctor And this is going to be a fun one. Already we're seeing on level 1 the reduction on the cooldown for the Shadow Dagger. So Sylvanas is going to try at level 16 to go for the Cold Embrace for the extra burst. Malfurion, what is he going to go for? Probably the extra damage against minions and mercenaries. Could also just decide to go into the reduced cooldown on his... oh, look at that. On his Innovate, I wanted to say that he can support Jaina a little bit. But instead it is going to be the Scouting Drone for the extra vision on the map. Also a pretty cool talent to take. It's actually a really nice talent to have if you want to have the extra vision. 5-man mid already. But yeah, in this case, of course, they're just going to start and switch around here. Currently, we're having Alternate Fancy in the lead. And Huron Team needs to win 2 in a row right now to make sure that they can participate in the round of 8. Whoever wins this series is through. Already earlier today we had Kappa Team advance with a 2-0 victory over Huron, and now we are in a situation where both of these teams fighting for the last spot out of Group C to advance in the tournament. And whoa, Blumby is already being attacked here, but a bit of a counter-aggression since we're suddenly seeing Bibolino in trouble, and down he goes. Nice rotation from Darkmog, moving straight in from the bot, and that was something that Muradin was just simply not prepared for. Knight takes pawn on level 1 for Jaina, has established itself as the standard talent. Great damage against the minion waves, and oftentimes it's even combined with another condemned talent on level 7 where you go for conviction for the extra speed. Helps you out to even chase targets down. You can even escape with it quite easily. And Muradin in this game going again for the Reverberation build. And I really don't think that is a good choice, just because there's not too many heroes that really do a whole lot of damage with their auto attacks. We have a couple of heroes, of course, that can, like, it's not like we're having like a melee assassin over here, like we have Vala or anything. So in this case, I think that it would actually have been better to go for the Stormbolt build, which these days is becoming a lot more popular again, since a lot of players realize that now that Illidan is not as good anymore as he was in the last game, and is not being played every single match, you don't really have to go for the Reverberation build. You can just simply go for the Stormbolt build once again, which is great when it comes down to taking down structures. Once again, in this game, we are, again, not the observer. Actually, I'm relying on the French production. A big shout out to Karma, who's doing the observing for us, just so that you know what's going on here, in case that you're wondering why I'm not showing the particular stats of the players. Blumby with a good escape here. We're seeing a Snowstorm taken on Jaina again for the increased radius. It's also now on level 4, that extra talent for the Shadow Dagger, so that you can, oh, sorry, not the Shadow Dagger, but the Black Arrow, so that the disable they takes 2 seconds, not only 1. It's a talent that a lot of players started to take since Envenom is, well, it's shit. Envenom really got nerfed quite a lot. It does the same damage as it did in the last patch. The problem is it applies the same damage over twice the duration. Was buffed or was nerfed from 5 seconds to 10 seconds, and that is oftentimes even negated by, or partly negated by, the health regeneration of the target, so it's really not as good as it was before. There are not too many good talents on level 4 for Sylvanas though, and this is one of the talents where people just said like, alright, it's a little bit easier for me to combine that with an unstable poison on level 7, so I'm gonna go for that instead. We're seeing, besides that, not really too many talents that are out of the ordinary, but as you can see here, at least for Malfurion, it's also with the Elun's Grace, the extra range on all of his basic abilities. That's pretty cool, and he can stay a bit farther in the back in this case. So right now we're having up at the top lane a big push here with the tri-lane, and they already took down the entire wall. The rotation is starting to move up to the top. The tribute, on the other hand, is spawning at the bot lane, so that's a bit of a problem. But they're really trying to take these heroes down up here, and they might be able to get that one lockdown, but they don't get anything else. And there is a very nice gravity lapse attempt, but it's just a bit too short, even with Netherwind taken on level 4. Didn't get anything done here. At the bot lane there is still the tribute, and so far Uther was trying to take that out somehow. Even had to apply cleanse already, and they are actually able to buy the time for the rest of the team to come over here. Cleanse on both sides, on Malfurion, who gave up enduring growth for it, and on Uther as well. They're having now Bed of Barbs taken for Nuburak, who went into the level 4 talent for Beetles. The automatic spawn of Beetles every 8 seconds, and Zebo is dead. Git Bin on level 7 for him. Shat is super low, but just barely getting away, and it looks like at least this tribute is going to end up in the hands of the Spanish team once again. And that means that they have 2 out of 3 tributes already. Very good position for them to be in here. The Icelands on Jaina on level 7. Look at that, not even going for Frostbitten here. We're also having Muradin going for, interestingly enough, the Battle Momentum talent. I mean, that is still a pretty solid build for Muradin, but he's now relying, of course, or he wants to put out a lot more of those thunderclaps. And in this case, as I mentioned before, there are not too many heroes that really rely on the right click or on the auto attacks for that damage. It's more casters that they are currently dealing with, and that of course means Nazeebo and also Kaelthas. That's where they get the most of the damage, at least. So Fission Bomb on level 7 for Kaelthas. We're having Shadow de Pelino moving over here, but they're a little bit too late to... Oh, actually, can they make something happen? Doesn't look like it. The Tribute is spawning. Oh, good triple stun that we're seeing here. Crosby is trying to use his spiders again. They are getting so annoying, especially later on in the game when we're hitting level 16. Those leaping spiders, they are a nightmare to deal with. Very, very annoying once they jump on you, and they got even a bit buffed in the last patch. Right now, again, the Flame Strike zoning Iruka out, but thanks to Moonfire, Wraith can constantly just interrupt Krolo. An attempted kill though. Tribute is at least being captured for now, but Wraith gets away. Level 9 for both of the teams. 1 kill for 2 kills just so far in the game itself, but we have the rotation again with Jaina being up at the top, so it's a 5 versus 3 in this particular one. Here comes Sylvanas, goes down against all that stun that we are seeing for Alternate. They're doing a great job in this game here, moving in once again against the towers, dropping one after another, and they are starting to get very close to hitting level 10 a bit faster. Up at the top lane, Shad is pushing in with the Siege Giant camp. Jaina, well, yeah, with Muradin there, she could have maybe tried to make a play, but of course she is living a dangerous life. No Ice Block just yet for Blondie. So in this case, we're having a Divine Shield, Web Blast, Phoenix, Gary the Gargantuan, and Blessed Shield taken. And they're moving around again. Nice attempt to take down Crosby, and yes, thanks to the heroic ability here, there was nothing that he could do. Just doesn't have an escape yet that he could use to get away out of a situation like this, especially after the initial stun of Muradin. Good kill against Nazeebo. 3 kills versus 2 so far, and it is a curse against Team Alternate. Well done by the Spanish team here. So great job by them. They're trying to take, of course, now the mid lane down, or at least drop that wall, if not the fort itself. They're going for it, and with 5 heroes already, they have a lot of pressure that they can execute right now, and that is exactly what they're trying to do here. Here comes once again the Flame Strike, and the backline on the other hand, we have Darkmock and also Crosby ready to apply the damage with Flame Strike and the Spiders, trying to go for a wall of zombies here as well, and here's already the Gargantuan is moving in, the Jester is there, and they go for Rippolino. Already we have Blast being used, and they're trying to drop it, they do so extremely fast. Nice silence that we saw there, Hiruka jumping away and escaping. Wow, it was actually a close one. I mean, Sylvanas was nearly dead. Shad is trying to move in again, but uh-oh, yeah, overdoing it a bit, maybe a bit. First Blizzard hitting a lot of heroes, so the second one, on the other hand, is not hitting anything. Most of the heroics are already down. The only one that is still there is the Divine Shield. Hasn't been used just yet, and it doesn't really look like it's going to be used. Top lane Ford has been killed. Bot lane Ford is also about to drop, but we are seeing an attempt to save it with an Uberak moving in. But in the mid lane, this is where we have 4 heroes still. The rotation, by the way, up to the top lane now on the side of Kaelthas, who's trying to get this entire wave. That's a lot of experience right there, and they are falling behind in experience, so they have to do something about it, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Punish being used on the side of Johanna to take down these creep tumors. Vision is of course extremely important, and one of the main reasons why you want to pick Zagara in any match is that their creep tumors give amazing vision on the map. You can take that out. It's made a bit harder if you go for endless creep on level 7 to judge where exactly those creep tumors are located, but as we're seeing rapid incubation taken on level 7, this is not the case right now. So in this particular scenario, it's quite easy to locate those creep tumors and eliminate them, and therefore the vision on the map, but you have to constantly do it, or your opponent is going to know exactly from where you approach and can not only set up a trap, but also always move back when they see you coming in. Bot lane, another attempt to take down the fort, and keep in mind that this would put level 13 into the hands of the opponent's team, and there it is, but they're still trying to fight. It's a 4 versus 4 in such a situation, actually turning into a 5 versus 5 as the rest of the team is rotating over. That talent lead is quite a problem though. There's a double ice block already, and that will make it so much more difficult to take down Jaina or Malfurion. Even the 13 talent now running straight into that black arrow, like that black arrow like Talon build that they are using here. Not going into evasive fire or spell shield, but instead trying to go for that slow against targets. And that is something that really starts to work against Devis here in particular, especially with Jaina also applying her own slow. And just like that, Anubarak is down. That level 13 Talent hitting a little bit too late to save him. Flamethrower on Kaelthas, and Vipolino was trying to get close to Crow to apply another stun, but that didn't happen. We have a double spell shield on not only Anubarak, but also Uther, and that will keep them alive during the later stages of the game thanks to that blizzard. Top approach already against one of the bosses, but the bottom boss is about to be taken by the Spanish team. So both of them are going for a bit of a trade there, and the only difference is that the boss that is currently captured by the Spanish team is already going to threaten the wall at the keep at the bot lane, whereas this one will have to go through the entire fort first. There's a tribute also spawning, and they can try and fight for this one. We have Burning Rage on Johanna and Sprint finally on Azebo, which will make it a little bit easier for him to move away. Nice cancelling out of the channeling process here. The boss is moving in at the bot lane, and the top lane we're seeing the same thing happening for Alternate, and they are still trying to fight this. Darkmok is back, was apparently getting some mana, and is trying to move in here once more. There's a couple of Roaches and also Mutalisks pushing Alternate back, at least for now. Roaches just raining from the skies. Every Protoss player in StarCraft 2 would have nightmares of this scenario, and it currently looks like they're actually gonna give this up. They don't need it necessarily. I mean, they are still, they know very well that there's not a single tribute that we're seeing for the Spanish team just now because, well, they used their curse a few seconds ago or a few minutes ago, and with that boss wreaking havoc down at the bot lane, Alternate decides that it's more important to depush the boss, that they move back down, give the tribute up. It's 4 kills against 2, but both of the teams are on level 14. The difference is that we're really having a bit of an advantage when it comes to experience, just a slight one, but if you can carry that into an earlier level 16 Talon, then you might be able to use that timing window and force a fight against your opponent, capitalize on the extra Talon and take them down there. So that's of course the idea behind all of this. The boss at the top lane has already been pushed out. 16 is going to be an important Talon for both of the teams. With Sylvanas going for the cooldown reduction on her Shadow Dagger on level 1, the 16 Talon with Cold Embrace is of course going to be extremely strong in fights, but we have Kaelthas also with that Ignite that he's currently waiting for on 16. And both of the teams are now aiming for, well, there's the 15 levels for them. The bot lane has been pushed but not taken out yet, and here they are fighting for the tribute once again, and this is going to be the second tribute for both of the teams. No matter who gets the tribute, will have 2 out of 3. But it looks like, are they really going to move back and wait for 16 before they engage into another big battle? I don't really think so. Nice flame strike here, stunning Wraith out for a second so that he can't channel again. Here comes the rest of the team. They're moving in again with another Blizzard, and Wraith, is he going to get the tribute? Yes, is he going to get the tribute? Yes, he is. Right, so another stun there, and the follow-up, that Gary is already active. Gary the Gargantuan currently is just running away, but finally about to move in again. Gary and the Water Elemental, it's a story made in heaven, but right now they're on opposite sides, so they have to fight. Divine Shield is being utilized to make sure that they can move back here. But as you can see, they are in a bit of trouble. That 16 Talent will be an important one for them. It's going to be an important one for both of the teams, but especially for Kaelthas, since he finally can hit that power spike on 16 to get all of that damage in. Up here at the top lane, we're having additional pressure applied and also experience gathered. Here it comes, we have Malfurion going straight into that additional Moonfire Talent on 16. We're having Stone Form taken, Cold Embrace, no surprise, and also the second Talent for the Hunter Killer Talent on the side of Zagara. So having 2 charges now, super important. Vision has been granted, they're trying to move in. Oh, Devis is like tipping his toe into the water and realizing it's super cold. He realizes it's a trap and immediately starts to move back here with the Burrow Charge. They need to engage at some point though, and that's why we're having them all up at the front again with a double tank lineup that Alternate is running. 6 kills in this entire game so far only, but the Leaping Spider is known for Nazebo, and they were already a pain to deal with before that, but right now they are super annoying. If he moves out like that though and gets taken out, that's a different story. Here comes Sprint saving him, at least for now, and the entire Alternate setup is moving back. The problem they are running into is, this would be the 3rd tribute again. They cannot really give this up. They need to wait, and that is where Uther has a big problem. Healing out all of that damage is something that he can't really easily do. That's where Rhaegar and Malfurion are so much better, and Anubarak is realizing that already. As he's dying, Malfurion with Tranquility is healing everything out, and here is another potential kill. trade being used, but everybody's just rushing away, and Krolo is cleansing himself, but Uther is not going to make it here. It's a pretty bad problem that Uther has. He offers a lot of utility to the team, especially with Benediction. He has a lot of burst heal that he can use. He has that cleanse, that protective shield. Not only to talk about the divine shield, but when it comes to raw healing numbers in those team fights, Uther and Rhaegar and Malfurion, there we go, are much better right now. They're just much better with that, just because they have the more consistent numbers, and they have more area heal, I want to say. That is something that Uther is lacking, and that was very transparent in the last fight when they were so low, and Uther just... the cooler is too high. It's simply too high on his Holy Light, so he can't really like get those heals in over and over again, whereas a Rhaegar with a level 16 talent tidal wave doesn't really have that problem at all, and that was quite transparent in those fights that we had so far. 17 versus 17, and things are looking grim for Alternate. They are cursed again. They're desperately trying to hang on to their keeps. The problem is that we are going to see the boss now taken by their opponents. At least that's what they should do. They will see that, well, that Alternate is trying to defend the mid lane and the top lane, and then they're going to go for boss. But the one thing that we're seeing on the side of Alternate is now trying to capitalize on that. Problematic is that they have been spotted already, and they might also be a bit too late. Yes, their boss is taken. They can't really fight this, and with the boss taken already, they find themselves in an even worse spot. Like, there's two ways how you can react to your opponent taking the boss. Either you can go for the opposite side of the map and take the boss there, then it's a trade. Or you can try to contest it. If you manage that, I mean, ideally you steal the boss and kill 2 or 3 heroes. If you manage that, it's great. If you move in and don't manage that, like we saw here, you are running into a massive problem. First of all, you have to defend against that boss. That's your first problem. The second problem is that your opponent has all the time in the world to get the second. So they will have to deal with 2 bosses now. For the next minute or so, they are going to be super passive, and it's going to be a nightmare for them to deal with this. They already sacrificed 1 Phoenix to deal with the first boss. That keep is extremely low, and all that Huron Team has to do now is wait until the top boss is being defended against, move to the bot lane, and drop that keep. That's all that they have to do right now. Or even go into the mid lane. No matter what they do, they should be able to get a keep out of this. In experience, it's still a very, very even trade here. I mean, we are talking 18 versus 18, but it's not an easy situation, like not by any means. This is really difficult to deal with. The boss up at the top is being defended against. There's Jaina at the bot lane trying to drop the keep, and in the mid lane we're having the rest of the team pushing in. So this is definitely going to be at least 1 keep. Or is it? Yes, it is. But they might be able to take down Shad. Nah, they're not even trying. So one of the keeps is down. The boss at the top lane is still active. I don't... Yes, they lost the second one as well. 2 keeps are down, and level 19 versus level 18. Maybe the beginning of the end. What Alternate needs is a good team fight. They really need a good team fight right now. If they don't get that, then they are in trouble, and in quite a lot of that as well. They need to do something, and the only thing that they can do is try and win a fight. And right now, this is very, very tricky. The problem that they are having with this is that they will hit level 20 much, much later than their opponent. And with that, Huron could just move into the mid lane and drop the last keep. Maybe even go for core. If they win a fight, if they drop a hero or 2, they could use that opportunity. They have 6 kills against 4. Team fights are going in their favor. The level 20 talent is going to give a lot of additional escapes to the team. They're also going to have a bit more damage. Right now we're still seeing a setup. The tribute is taken, or will be taken, and any second now we're going to have those extra talents. And that is the worst case scenario for Alternate. I mean, there's no doubting that. So right now they just have to somehow hold on, soak experience, not die, and wait to fight another day. That's what they need to do right now. There's a level 20 talent. Triple Bolt of the Storm, Storm Shield, and we're going to see either Rewind or Hardened Shield for Muradin. Not a good situation to be in for Alternate. Very, very passive stance right now, and for good reason. They're trying to depush the top lane, but here comes the attack in the middle. Going for the key, exactly as we talked about earlier. Trying to make it work, and just look at that damage already. Nice zoning with the Phoenix. I like that a lot, by the way. But Darkmork has used that right away. He's trying to zone, but they, of course, can only get experience if they kill waves. That's why we have Nazebo moving up to the top to make sure that he gets that last bit of experience for level 20. But Jaina is starting to get a bit low. Kaelthas is a great hero for a situation like this, always poking, but Sylvanas is amazing for pushing, and that's exactly what she's doing right now. Moving in, they drop the roaches on top of the keep. The keep is nearly gone. The 20 talent is finally there. Finally they are on their 20s, and they might get the kill here. No! Shed blinks away. Indestructible, redemption, hardened shield, all of those being used to kill against Kaelthas just too soon. He couldn't blink away, and Jaina has the divine shield on her, but there's the trigger on the indestructible, but now on level 20 doesn't look like anything is going to happen. Anything good is not going to happen here for Team Alternate. Huron, and they are going to take this. They move in, siege giants, catapults, everybody is going for that core, and this is going to be a tie in this series. We're going to see the third map between Alternate Fancy and Huron Team. Well played here by the Spaniards, and they were able to win on Cursed Hollow, and we're going to see map number 3 coming up in just a bit in this best of 3 series.
The Spanish team takes game number 2, ties the series up, and brings us into a third game. Alternate Fancy, they have a map that is, well, let's just say it's their home ground. Blackhearts Bay is extremely strong for them, and they chose the map once again here and start things off with a pick on Abathur. Pretty interesting and super cool actually to see that, and normally they would play an Illidan here, but they don't really have to go into the melee assassin. It got nerfed in the last patch. Not only the radius of metamorphosis got decreased, also the damage by metamorphosis, and we have a few unstoppable frames missing on the hero's dive and sweep, so that's definitely a big problem that Illidan players have right now. But they're playing this with an Abathur on the map, and they're also running not only Muradin, but we have them with Malfurion for the heals, and pretty interestingly enough, they go straight again into Nazeebo, which they already showcased the last map where they lost. On the other side, then we have Huron Team, and the Spanish team is running in with Jaina again. Jaina, probably one of the best heroes that we have currently at the front line, and they are of course going to try and win this one out again. If you look at the draft, by the way, there was a problem with the draft with the pictures being shown there. It's of course not a double Jaina that you see there, so yeah, take that with a grain of salt. I'm going to show you the draft screen anyways, just so that you know which heroes were banned out. The rest of the draft is absolutely correct. But yeah, let's find out which game is going to take this best of 3 series, who's going to advance to the round of 8 together with Kappa Team, and who will drop out of the tournament. Is it going to be Huron Team, or is it going to be Alternate Fancy? We're going to find out right now on Blackhearts Bay.
The last game of the day, everybody. We have Alternate Fancy going up against the Huron Team. And to the left side, it is the Spanish team with Hiruko and Sylvanas, Vippolino on Jaina, Turu Huhaha, aka Shed, is playing on Tychus. He had to use a different account, apparently having some problems there. Red X on Zagara, and we have Rave on Rhaegar. To the right side of the map, we have Darkmok for Alternate Fancy on Vala, Devis on Abathur, Krolu on Malfurion, Crosby on Nazeebo, and Blumby on Muradin. So the last game of the day, it is a tie in the series. It's a best of 3, and of course the winner of this match advances to the round of 8 of the tournament, which is going to be pretty sick. We already have a bit of a division here. One team with 4 heroes up at the top in nearly full strength, and Tychus is being played in this game, which is always great. I'm actually liking that guy. The Innovate cooldown reduction for Malfurion, so whoever is with him on one lane can spam spells 6 days to Sunday. We have the attempt to go for the chest here, but first of all, Dartmouth, Blumby, and Malfurion are moving in there. Bot lane, Zagara against Nazeebo, and Abathur is claiming the top right now. The reduction on the cooldown for the Shadow Dagger again on Sylvana, so we're seeing a very similar build here than we saw in the last game. 50 in-game seconds, the chests are spawning, and that's exactly where they are right now. So yeah, let's check out who's going to get the coins there. Looks like it's going to be the Spanish team, because Blumby is already in trouble, and Abathur can't really help out too much here. Darkmok hitting his spells and hitting them hard, but the coins end up in the hands of the Spanish team. Rave and Vippolino taking those. We're having Hiruko right now. And down to the bot lane, Nazeebo was able to get all 5 coins, pushing Zagara back. Red X, of course, getting those creep tumors and everywhere to make sure that he has the vision, and especially if he gets them up to the top in those smoke screens, he can make sure that there's nobody trying to move in from behind and take him down. So we have Pressurized Glance on Abathur, taking that as the level 1 talent, so not going for any kind of push build, at least not early on. Talking about pushing, with this many damage heroes in the team, we are seeing right away the Spanish guys going straight for one of those towers. And of course on this map in particular, Tychus. Well, if you take down one of the towers to at least half HP, the first turn-in that you have is going to destroy the fort. If that is not the case, if there's still a full wall available, then the first turn-in is only, well, it's going to get close to destroying the fort, but it's not really going to drop it. And a lot of players will take a mule on this map. It's because it's a great map for mule, since the objectives are attacking the structures directly. Sky Temple is another good example for a mule map. So is, for example, let's say, Haunted Mines. So right now they are trying to get the early pressure in, the Spanish team that is. Abathur is probably going to go for the mule on level 7. We're also seeing now the melting point grenade on the side of Tychus, which got actually buffed in the early stages of the game a bit in the recent patch. Later on the scaling is not as good anymore as it was in the past, but at the beginning of the game it's actually pretty solid. Look at Rhaegar, by the way, a full heal build that we are seeing for him. You don't see that all that often. The level 1 talent is one that is a bit more popular, just because it reduces the mana costs on the healing wave. On level 4, that on the other hand, it's more of like an extra heal on lightning shield and allies, which is pretty cool, but you have to give up Feral Heart for that. And Feral Heart is one of the talents that really allows you to stay in the lane a bit longer. Global Mines taken on Abathur, so we could still see a bit of a hybrid build with Locust push. We've even seen in this patch now on level 13 and 16 the Locust talents taken again, and Abathur won that game, so it was a pretty cool match just a while back after the patch hit. But yeah, right now we're seeing Vala going for multi-shot build up at the top lane. The teams are going straight for it. And could there be a kill? Nah, but there's already there. Shielding Bloomby at least for now. But Turuhuha, aka Shat, I'm actually not quite sure what exactly happened to his account, but he said he has a problem there. They talked to the admins. The admins were fine with him just switching the account over. And right now they're trying to get the kill against Johanna. And Johanna is dead. Yeah, well done so far. That was actually like a pretty cool move. Level 4 talent here for Rhaegar with a heal, so I'm pretty curious what we're going to see on the next level. Normally it's going to be either the shield or it's going to be cleanse, but in this case I guess you can go for the lightning shield. You don't really have to go for cleanse, and it would make a lot of sense if you're going for that extra heal on the target as well, because, well, you have that extra focus on one particular target where you can really get the numbers out there. Searing attack for Vala. We're seeing cleanse after all, rapid incubation, sizzling attacks for Tychus. And now also the piercing bolt from Myrddin, Gitbin being used, enduring growth, and of course, the mule. Mule on level 7 for Abathur. No surprise there, the mule is already trying to build in some overtime to heal the wall, but that's not happening. And yeah, they are losing a lot even before the first coins are even turned in, so that is an issue. I mean, the wall is nearly destroyed. They have to take care of the mule, and they already dropped this one, but still, there's like way too much pressure against this, and the gate is now down as well. The more structures you lose, because your opponent is attacking the structures directly, the more efficient their turn-ins are going to be later on, or the more important structures the cannonballs are going to attack. Right now, we have the first turn-in for the red team, so Alternate Fancy is going to get very close at dropping one of those forts. Again on level 4, by the way. Sylvanas not going for that standard talent in the last patch, which is in Venom, just because it got like worse than a lot. It's Paralysis with the increase on the Black Arrow duration by 100%. So Paralysis is kind of starting to become a bit of a standard. On level 13, we are seeing more and more of the Overwhelming Affliction, which is exactly another talent for the Black Arrow. So these trade talents on Sylvanas are very popular, especially with Huron Team now. And that might be exactly what we're going to see in this game now then as well. But for now, let's just have a quick look at what exactly happens in the mid lane. Davis is way far out here on his Pajama Thor. That skin is currently on sale, and I'm loving it. My wallet is ready, even though I have not gotten it yet. Need to do that. Probably double check before that if my wallet is really ready. But yeah, that skin is pretty awesome. So right now we're having both of the teams aiming for level 10, but it's actually like a lot closer to Alternate Fancy. Crosby so far at the bot lane has been doing whatever he could to just like pushing his back, but they already lost a few structures there. The really interesting thing is that so far there was not a single coin turned in for the Spanish team. Here comes the... oh, Johanna dying again. Not dropping any coins, didn't have any. But it is really Alternate Fancy that are leaving their mark on the map, right? I mean, it's interesting to think about this. Like, the fight so far, 3 kills against 0 for Alternate Fancy, but when it comes to structures, it's a completely different picture. So many structures have already been eliminated. by the Spanish team, thanks to that Sylvanas and Zagara composition. And again a kill! Boom! Just like that, it is the 4th kill of the game for Alternate Fancy. They have a Monstrosity, the Gargantuan, it's basically like a zoo over there. We're running the Tamagotchi, running Gary, we have Abathur, Tranquility and Strafe. But so far, the pressure that we are seeing executed from the Spanish team against structures is really going to help them in the later stage of the game. But at this point, they are falling behind in experience, so they have to be careful with this. Odin, Ancestral Healing, more Blessed Shield and Wailing Arrow, the heroics on the side of the blue team. And they have to make something happen here. I mean, they're on the even talents right now. They finally have the heroic. We have the Monstrosity taken out at the top lane, and Abathur by now is really taking position in the mid lane there. Could actually go for a slapping excursion. A slap. Nah, that doesn't make any sense. And try and get a few coins with his Slabathur. But nope, that's not happening. Rhaegar is still there, so that's a risk that Abathur doesn't want to take. For good reason, of course. Over here, on the other hand, the coins end up in the hands of Alternate Fancy. The Maw does not do anything to save Jaina, was rooted and locked down, and Krolo even pausing the game right now as 3 players drop. Vipolino, Shat, and Wraith are all dropping, and well, that situation is being commented on by Crosby. Yeah, I'm not 100% certain what's happening here, but that doesn't look good. And yeah, 3 disconnects at the same time, so they're probably at the same place, at least I assume. But yeah, that is not looking good at all. Gives us a bit of an opportunity to look at what exactly is going on in the game. So if you look at the minimap, we have the mid fort already taken out. Bot lane is currently being attacked here. Up at the top, or the top 2 lanes, we're having one camp starting to push in, and that is a hard camp, a bruiser camp, that is trying to now push in the top lane here. So it's actually like a pretty difficult situation at this point for the Spanish team. So everybody, the players are currently leaving the game. Apparently it's going to be okay in a second. We tried to pause instantly when you saw it. You see, yeah, I guess like they really did, but this is still a tricky situation for the Spanish team. I mean, it was even before. It's not like the disconnect affected too much, but you can really see that this is going to be a bit of an issue. As soon as they are back, they can try and save the heroes that are still there. I guess Alternate is probably going to move back for a second, giving them a moment to just make sure that they get full control of their heroes again. But you can already tell that these situations here are not really, the situation is not really good. Because the lanes are being pushed. We have a bit of pressure up at the top for the Spanish team, but they are struggling down here at the bot lane, and that is quite tricky. I mean, this is like really tricky right now. That fort is still, I mean, right now the fort is still at full HP, but they could try and push this in. The problem is really that with the kill against Jaina, the frontliner is missing, and therefore you have nothing to really block the damage or really help you with the condemn. So yeah, everybody is ready again, and let's just resume this and try to make sure that everything is going to go fine. There's a quick wait. Can you give us a second? Apparently they're running into problems as well. Well, they already said earlier that they have. Alright, so apparently one of the guys had to go for a quick bathroom break. I would have probably worded it a little bit different, but hey, let's just go for it. So yeah, at the bot lane it's still a 4 versus 3 situation thanks to the kill against Jaina. It's 1 kill against 0. That does not make any sense. That must be a bit of a problem with the overlay here, because we already had more than that, didn't we? The Witch Doctor's Gargantuan currently there. Wraith actually in position right now. Apparently everybody is ready now again, so yeah, let's just go for it. Okay, so boys, we are back to business. And as you can see, 3, 2, 1, exclamation mark. Alright, so here we go. Game is resumed, and it's an immediate kill against Tychus. He was nearly dead already before, and that is, of course, yeah. They take down at least the tower. I mean, if not more than that. Abathur at the top lane, you see that on the minimap, moved into position that he can soak more experience. Has to somehow also deal, of course, with that bruiser camp that was taken earlier. But the bot lane is going to be pushing. Just look at that leading experience. A 2-level lead already for Alternate Fancy. Even though they lost so many structures early on, they're still dominating now the map. They are running that experience lead. They move with their talent advantage, and they are just trying to get coin after coin. Another turn, it would put them in an even better position now. And yeah, this is a really solid situation here. They turn in once again, and that should be turn in number 2 for them. And with the top fort nearly being destroyed, that should actually fall. I mean, they dropped the wall, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to see that in just a bit, I assume. But yeah, they are doing really well. So, damage control. That's what it is about for the Spanish team. They need to go for the damage control and make something happen here. And the question is, of course, how to do that. Push in the bot lane, drop a couple of structures, get maybe a few coins and turn them in. That might be a good start. Most of the camps are already taken though, so there's very little way you can really move in and do that. We have the hybrid build on Abathur that I was talking about earlier, with them going now straight for the level 13 Locust talent. So that's the Bombard strain that we're going to see there. And Vipolino and his boys are moving in at the bot lane. Nice stun there against Vala, was going straight for Strafe. But thanks to Tranquility, Crawler is still alive, and a good kill against Jaina again. Wraith too late on his ancestral healing to help her out here. So yeah, that didn't really work too well for them. And right now they're in even more trouble. I mean, they're nearly 3 levels behind by now. Abathur is taking everything apart. He's up at the top lane with this monstrosity. They heal against Sagara in the last second, but Wraith might die. He's super low on his Rhaegar. He's just running and running and running. Lumbi does have the cooldown ready for another hit against Sagara, and with a frost shot, she's slowed down and rooted. 6 more coins that end up in the hands of Alternate Fancy, and they are dominating right now. The fort at the bot lane is dropped, so that at least went down, but you can see that they use every opportunity that they have to just drop a structure or two, moving in already over here against the wall at the bot lane, and now on the way back they can just simply go into the middle to Blackheart, turn in again, and they have 50 coins. 8 kills against 0. 8 kills against 0 and nearly the level 16 talent, just as the Spanish team has reached level 13. They are taking the overwhelming affliction off on the Sylvanas. We're having Burning Rage. There's a Relentless on Tychus, which is of course a great talent, especially with level 16 Stone form that he has. Stone Shield, of course. So in this case, also the healing talents, of course, for Rhaegar. Getting the heals out in this game is going to be so important for them in those team fights. But right now they are really struggling, and they are in a horrible position. They have to make a big team fight happen later on, but for that to work, they have to play so passive. There's just no way for them to really gain map control or win a fight within the next like 3 to 4 minutes unless their opponent really screws up. And I just don't see that happening. The boss is going to be taken. That opens 2 possibilities up for you. Either you go with the boss and you try to drop more structures, or you just like turn on the map, you take more of the camps that are available, and you go for a safe turn in. Those are the 2 options that you have. And right now it doesn't really matter what they do. Everything is a good decision. They are going Executioner on Vala because they don't need a Blood for Blood. They don't need any passive spells here. We're having now also Abathur going straight into the next support talent here on level 16 with a Hardened Focus taken on Balfury, which is going to make it even easier for him to hit his roots and also, of course, get the healing numbers up there, thanks to the reduced cooldown when he's at high health. We're having the Leaping Spiders, and just for this, they are trying to get the first keep here, and they're gonna be close for that. There's finally a turn-in on the side of the blue team, but is that really gonna help them? They are going to drop that fort in the mid lane, but that's already about it. Shat is going for the Odin here, using a second count, Tuluhuha, and the keep is down regardless. Doesn't matter what he does there, he won't be able to stop this one. They might be able to get a kill, and that would be a big victory. Vipolino gets healed this time. Shat is rather low, but Wraith is there for the heal, and they are close to level 16. That would be great for them. Mid keep is also destroyed. So much pressure, and look at Abathur down at the bot lane, not only soaking experience but also sending that monstrosity and feeding that Tamagotchi. The monstrosity, of course, is growing over time once it starts killing additional minions, and that is extremely nice. On level 20, you can even go for that extra talent for the tunnel, which is amazing, but normally Hive Mind is just the better talent, it's even better. Yeah, the Pajama Thor is already starting to move back, the monstrosity is running, but those chests in the middle of the map are not doing the Spanish team any favors here. 19 coins on the side of Alternate Fancy, and they move straight to Blackhearts again for another turn-in attempt, and that would mean a potential drop of the bottom keep, which leaves them with like no hope whatsoever. The turn-in not completed though. 16 talents are finally there with a Cold Embrace. We're also having now on the side of Jaina the added health with every single shield glare that she hits. There is Tychus, Stone Shield, or what's it gonna be? That would be the normal talent, but maybe he has a different approach in this one. Right now we're having, well, we're still having not taken his talent, so what could he possibly go for? I mean, there's not really too much that he can take in this case, but safety first, I'd say. Yeah, so far hasn't taken anything. I just hope for him that they didn't really forget about it. Right now, the bottom lane camp is up, the Bruiser camp, and that is going to be a big focus point for both of the teams. But of course, what Alternate wants to do first is turn in. They have 20 coins. There is Odin, and Odin, well, if they can move away from that and just wait it out, then that would be a big help. But they turn in completely, and therefore 16 of 16. Sylvanas is not even with the team. They're going into a 5 versus 4, a great ancestral healing, but she is not going to get away there. Nope. Gets the challenge in, but they're so low. Finally, it's a 5 versus 5, but everybody is in hot pursuit right now. Down goes Gary. The Gargantuan is back, but Darkmork just vaults in and makes sure that he gets the slow. Vippolino, is he gonna make it? Wow, double kill actually. Look at that. Vala and Malfurion are down. So is Johanna though. Bloomby secures most of the coins and is trying to get away there. He has 9 out of the 10 coins on the side of Alternate Fancy. That was a pretty nice kill that we saw there. Wailing arrow and everything. Job well done. But yeah, they get 2 more kills in, and that was a big help. But now 9 more coins are about to be turned in, and just look at that bottom map. There is just nothing left except the core. So 1 more turn in is all that they need. 1 more turn in and a right click, and now the level 20 talents are also on the board for the team. 99% on the core, already lost a few there. Nexus Frenzy for Vala, Hive Mind for Abathur, 98% on the core. Every single hit point that they lose now is a disaster. There's also the Bolt of the Storm on Nazebo. They have another 3 coins, and they can just start turning in 1 coin after another. Once that they have the 18, the game is going to be over. They have 5 coins right now, 2 level behind. That's where the Spanish team is currently, and they are just trying to somehow de-push these lanes, get experience, do something. But what exactly are you going to do there? Crosby and those boys should actually turn in right now. Every single coin matters, and if you lose them, the turn-ins for the blue team are still extremely cheap, and they were already able to drop 2 of the forts, so that is going to be a big thing. There's actually like 2 more camps in the middle of the map, so they're going for this one. That's 2 more coins. They're at 7 right now, and they can just simply go and take one of the smaller camps. That would be 9. That would be a completed turn-in for them, and that would be game. And considering that they are still more than a level ahead, and that this is not even level 19 for their opponent, I mean, what exactly is Team Huron going to do about that? I do not think that they have a choice here. There's the turn-in already, and yeah, well, they're not even trying to contest it. I mean, not that they can, but they have to, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is game. This is game. The turn-in together with a few right clicks is going to finish this match. So, yep, it is going to be Team Alternate Fancy advancing to the next round of the tournament. Job well done, and congratulations. They take the 2-1 against Team Huron, and yeah, this is it. They don't even have to fight for this anymore. Game's over already. So, yep, that's the 2-1 victory. Congratulations to Team Alternate. They advance to the round of 8, and Huron Team, unfortunately for them, drops out of the tournament.
Congratulations to Alternate Fancy. They take the game, they take the series with the 2-1. A little bit anticlimactic at the end there. They knew, of course, already that they would win the game with that turn in, moved in to do a bit of additional damage to just be on the safe side, and then everything was fine for them. Great play by them, really well done. Huron Team, unfortunately for them, they are not able to make it here today. So they fought well, and they had pretty cool games during the entire day. But still, in the end, it is Alternate Fancy. It is just a little bit stronger and takes now another round of 8 spot. So congratulations to Alternate Fancy. Well played today. I hope that you guys enjoyed the show as well and enjoyed the best of 3 series with a lot of heroes that we didn't see in quite some time. With the Butcher, we had Abathur being played a lot, and also Nazebo. Pretty cool. If you liked it as well, give the video a thumbs up on YouTube, and of course make sure that you subscribe to Khaldor TV if you have not done that yet. And guys, I'm going to see you next time with more Heroes of the Storm here on the channel. Have a great day. Bye bye.